Hello everybody, welcome back. I hope you're doing great. So, a couple of things. If you hear water or something, it was raining. I'm hopeful the rain can stop for a couple of minutes while I do this. Two, if you hear some kind of cutting machine, they're cutting up something. It is 7 p.m. I don't think they can see exactly what they're cutting at this time, but they're still going strong. Maybe they have some light to help them, but it is dark outside, so I don't know how they can do that. Either way, if you hear weird sounds, that's what it is. So, this is not a reaction. I know usually at night I do reactions and all that, but I wanted to do some sort of longer video today because I wanted to post something this Saturday. So that's why I'm doing this today. I did this once and it worked because now I have this tiny little lighting that kind of helps night videos look a little bit better. So I'm doing this today, and we're actually talking about a series. Now, by the title of this, you will know which one I'm talking about, but I put this on myself because I did a video of season 1 and season 2 of this series, and I wasn't planning on that, but I did it because I was so disappointed with season 2. I was like, I need to talk about it, and I did. And then I said, when they do season 3, I'll do a video about it, and here we are. So, I am talking about Squid Games season 3 that came out on this summer, if I remember. Took me a while to see because I was like, I could not bring myself to see it because I was so disappointed in season 2. And I watched this at work. That should say a lot because I work with numbers and all of that, and usually the things that I put to like entertain myself are not Korean. I try to put some kind of English music or something, video, mainly because I don't want to be hearing subtitles, but by the fact that I was able to watch this while working, this is Korean, and I watch things in their original language because I don't like the dubbing thing that they do. That says a lot. It's a thing. Okay, whatever. The point is, this is the one that we're talking about now. This is 6 episodes, 2 less than season 2. So that also says to you that they were definitely rushing a little bit to make this all connect and end. They're almost an hour, or at least over an hour. The thing is, credits are like 10 minutes. So subtract like 10 minutes out of it. Some of them will get to the hour, some of them won't. But still, an hour and a couple of minutes essentially is what they last. We are going to talk about this. Now, like I said, I made a video talking about season 1 and season 2 because I was so disappointed in season 2, and I absolutely love season 1. I love what they did to it. I love how they did things to like criticize certain things in society and all of that. That was just amazing. I love the ending. I know the ending is open-ended in a way how it ended, but I liked it. I realized that we're going to the season 2, season 3. I was like, makes sense. This series got popular, understandable. And then I watched season 2 because I was like, let's see what they do. So disappointed. I don't know. There was just so many things that like they were trying to connect things to new players. I did not like what they did to the main character, Ki-hoon, and I was just like, oh my god. So I made that video. So if you want to hear more about me ranting a little bit, that video is on the channel. I'll put it at the end, and I'll try to remember to put it in the box below so you can also see the link there and watch it, and then come back to this one and watch me rant probably again about season 3. So usually when I make these videos, I go episode by episode and I tell you the important things. Now this part might be a little bit shorter than usual because, like I said, things happened but not really happened. It's just a lot of talking, and you can tell they were trying to connect stuff to make it make sense for the ending, and I was like, again, I was able to watch this at work. That says a lot. We're gonna start in episode 1, of course. Not too much in this. They do a recap at the beginning so you can kind of know season 2, and it tells you more of like where everybody is and all of that. And then the main things that you need to know from episode 1 is 1, Yoon-ho is still trying to find the island. That poor boy, he's still trying to do that with the captain of the boat, Young-gil, there we go, that we know that he's working with the frontman, and this is even more confirmed because at some point he's talking to the frontman on the phone, and the frontman is like, hey, if they get too close to the island, just kill them all and not leave any of them alive. Another thing is Noelle. I don't know if I'm saying her name right. I don't know if I ever mentioned her in season 2 when I made that video, I'm not sure, but she is one of the guards in season 2, but she has a connection with one of the participants. Oh my god, he's called Hyun-suk. They work in the same park. She's kind of like a mascot, and he draws public, and he has a sick daughter, and of course he went into the game to get money for it and to help and all of that. Well, at the end of season 2 we saw him getting shot. This starts episode 1 does tell you that the one that shot him was her, and she was telling him you need to act dead. And then I think she puts the mark on him when they put him in the box. That is the mark with the organ distribution people, because the guy is like, oh, you finally decided to be with us, great, here you go, blah blah, and she has to like go where they work, and they take her there, and she kills everybody there and leaves the doctor alive to save Gyun-suk lives, essentially, because he did got shot at the end of the day. And then another thing is the games are still ongoing even after Gi-hun did what he did season 2 that I got very frustrated by, but it keeps going. He's now handcuffed to a bed always whenever they go back to the rooms, because of course they got to do that after what he did. And the other players are like, yeah, you did this to like eliminate all of them, thank you, blah blah blah, when in reality like they don't even know that he just wants revenge. But still, okay, so they do introduce you to the next game, which is hide and seek. The whole thing is players are divided into 2 groups. You get the blue players that are trying to escape. There's a bunch of doors and they give them a key, and that key opens certain doors, and they just need to find the exit door to escape. Essentially that's the whole mission. But then you have the red group. They are going to hunt them and kill them with the knife that they give them. So the people in the game give the keys to the blue, the knife to the red, and they are going to kill them, essentially. The thing is, if you don't escape but you survive, you pass the game, you're good. But the red people, the red group, if you don't kill anybody in that time frame that they have, you will die. They are going to kill you. So it's, again, it's like if you go with the blue you might get killed, if you go with the red you have to kill somebody, essentially. And they do give them time to change if they want to, but once the game starts there's no changing. We're going to episode 2. This hide and seek games feels like the game that they had in season 1 with the marbles, that it was sort of at the endish, that like half of the players died. This is what it reminds me of, because so many people die on this game, honestly, even the ones that you fell in love with season 2. For example, Hyojun, she got killed by Myungi. Names and I don't go together, that's the slogan of this channel at this point. And he did it in front of Junhee, which is the pregnant girl, and Gumja, which is the old lady, right there. Didn't care, he just did it. Apparently he didn't know that both of them were on that room, but still, that was sad. I did cry a bit because I did like Hyojun's character. Again, season 2 felt like they were just trying to make you love all of them and hate a couple of them. If I hated Myungi a lot, I hate him even more now. The other one is Young Chick. He does die. He is the son of Gumja, the old lady. Again, at the beginning they were able to exchange, and they both exchanged. She was on the red and he was on the blue team. I cannot speak anymore. They decided to change because, again, she's an old lady. He didn't want her to have to kill somebody, and she couldn't like really run or anything like that. So they decided to change, but of course he has to kill somebody, but he's not able to do it at the end. And they meet, and she actually, Gumja, is the one that kills him because she doesn't want him to die in the hands of, you know, the guards and the game and all of that. So that was a sad one as well that I cried a bit. And then the other one is Gi-hun hunting down Daeho. If you don't remember, one of the reasons why they weren't able to continue what they were doing in season 2 with like the guns and whatever that is because Daeho never went back with the bullets. Apparently when Gi-hun comes back to the room, some of the players were telling him that he did cut the bullets, he went out and then he came back running all scared and it was his fault. And Gi-hun made his mission to hunt him down, because Gi-hun was in the red team, by the way, hunt him down to kill him. And they do find Gi-hun is like ignoring everybody. He's like, I don't care about you, where is he? He's like set on him. They do find, and Deho, oh my god, I cannot say his name. He does confess that he was never in the military, that the tattoos that he has is fake. I already kind of knew that. The way that he was acting and stuff on games is like, if you were in the military, you saw a lot of things. I already knew that. Like, I already had set on my mind he's lying about everything. But Gi-hun does end up killing him. They do fight a bit, but Gi-hun does end up killing him with his bare hands. He didn't need a knife. He just did not care, just did it. So Deho dies. Again, I love Gi-hun's character in season 1. What they did to him with season 2, season 3, I did not like. Again, I understand the reason, but it doesn't fit with the character that you presented to me in season 1. You know what I mean? Like, I understand why, but still. Another thing that you need to know in this game is that the baby gets born. Junhee, she's pregnant, and she does have the baby. This happens before Hyejun gets killed, and Geumja helps her with the birth and everything. And the baby was a decision. It was CGI, if I remember, and I read about it, and I was like, how bad can it be? It was bad. I don't know why. Like, I understand you won't being able, you know, to have a real baby on the set with everything happening around, totally fine. But the CGI was a decision. It looks weird. I did not like it. I felt like it was better if I didn't see the baby. Like, I didn't care. Like, I understand the baby being an important thing at the end, but I don't need to see the baby, okay? You can just put a baby doll in the jacket, wrap it around, and me not seeing the face at all until the end, you know. But it was a decision. We're going to the next one. So the next episode is more of them connecting things, because again, wrapping things up very quickly, they need to do that. So Junho is able, finally, after like 2 seasons of looking for it, he finds the cliff that he got shot at, and he's like, okay, this is the cliff, I'm sure of it. The island must be very close by. And of course, Youngil is like, okay, I need to do something about it. So he does direct them to the opposite side. So he's like, this side cannot be because of some Chinese people that guard that like sea part. I don't even know what he said, but something like that. But at least Junho is found the cliff. Okay, I was happy for him, because he has been looking for everything for like 2 seasons at this point. Geumja, the old lady, she does unalive herself. I think the guilt of having to do what he did with, you know, the son, killing the son and all that, she couldn't live with it. She was able to talk to Gi-hun before doing that and being like, please protect Yoonhee and the baby and all of that. And then the next day we see her that she unalived herself. Again, probably guilt that she felt after everything, and then having the son there and everything. She was probably like, there's no reason for me to be there, so she does do that, and I did cry a bit when I watched it. Next, they do introduce another game, jump rope. Simple jump rope. There's like 2, which I know the 2 characters that are kind of doing this with the rope. I know they're very popular in Korea. I didn't write the names, I'm sorry. I did found a video, or they saw a video behind the scenes of how they did that. No wonder it looks very weird here, because sometimes here a guy will jump and then another one would jump, but the rope wouldn't make sense, you know. Like, you can tell the rope was like CGI added, because sometimes it didn't click. But it's just your simple jump rope. They had to jump across a bridge, and there was a part missing at the kind of middle, essentially, of the bridge, that they had to jump and then keep jumping the rope until the end. The first one that crossed is actually Gi-hun with the baby. And then episode 4, we only got like 2 episodes left. This is the episode where Junhee, the one that gave birth, dies. She got hurt at some point in the hide and seek game, again with the whole baby thing and all of that. I'm pretty sure, I think it was her leg or her ankle, and she dies. She couldn't jump again, and Gi-hun was trying to go back, but again there's a time frame that all of them had to pass, and the time was running out, and she was like, no, don't even, like, this is my end, you protect the baby, I trust you. And she does fall. I think she falls. I don't think they shoot her. I think she falls and dies, of course. So after they do that, there's supposed to be 8 of them, but the game is like, hey, there's 9 of you. And everybody, I think everybody at this point is a man, I think. All of them are like, what? There's 8 of us. And the front month decided to acknowledge the baby as the new player 222, which is the number that Yuhi, his mom, or her mom, we never know if it is a girl or a boy, I think it was a girl, that is her number. And every man there was so angry. They were going to try and kill the baby, but they were like, nope, you cannot do that, there's no violence in this room, essentially. But they were very set on just killing the baby and everything, because again, it's a baby, and Myungi is alive. That son of a, he's alive, and he's not saying anything at all, okay? He's not like protecting or helping absolutely anything. He's more with the bad guys, in a way, the bad group. During these few episodes that we were talking about, there is this guy that is working with Yoonho, and he doesn't really trust Yoongi. And in season 3, he's kind of looking for information about him and telling Yoonho like, yay, I found this, I don't like this, I don't like this guy, I don't trust him. And Yoonho's like, he's the one that saved my life. And the guy is like, still I don't trust him. So he did find that Yoongi and the recruiter that we saw in season 1, I think he appeared in season 2, are friends, because he entered Yoongi's home. And the police does find him, and the police does call Yoongi and be like, hey, some guy got into your house, we have him here, he found this money that you had in a hole in the ground, and all of that. And he's like, okay, great. So the guy ends up killing the other guy because they have 2 boats. Have opinions of that, but they have 2 boats. And he calls and he's like, hey, kill everybody on the boat, because they already know. He's thinking that Yoonho already knows that he sends the guy, but no, because the guy is able to call Yoonho and be like, hey, he knows this and this, and he already knows, so protect your ass. And the police takes his phone, and Yoonho's like, oh crap. The main thing of this is that Yoongi dies. Yoonho is forced to kill him. He's able to kill almost everybody of them except one guy, but Yoonho does kill him, and he tries to, you know, force him to give information about the Islam, but the guy is like, nope, and dies right there. The frontman actually talks to Gi-hun. Now by this point, everybody's under suits like in season 1. Very weird, because again, there's like 9 of them, and they already had the dinner thing that they had in season 1 when there were like 3 of them, and it was like full dinner. And that was kind of funny, because the baby, they bought milk for the baby, and one of the guards was giving milk to the baby, and I was like, the baby's in the middle, and I'm like, oh my god, what is this? Either way, they're having their stuff and their, you know, food and everything. But after all of this, Gi-hun is talking to the frontman, and the frontman does reveal himself to be the guy that was playing with him and everything on season 2 and all of that. Which again, frontman's name is Inho, but I keep calling the frontman. It's easier for you to kind of understand which one I'm talking about. And of course, Gi-hun is like angry, and again, just like, man, you got played by an old man in season 1, and then in season 2 you trust this person so much, and then, you know, it's like I said at some point in the video that I made, it would have been so much cool if you already know that it was him, and then this, the reaction would have been so much better. Okay, we're gonna talk about that later. But episode 5 is literally just them wrapping things up as quickly as they can, because we need an ending for episode 6 essentially. They put an end on the organ distribution thing that they were having. There was this captain that I don't even remember if he appeared in season 1 and season 2, honestly. He probably has, but this is the first time that we see his face, I think. Noel is able to use this captain, which I don't know his name because I honestly, again, I don't think they were mentioning his name. But I'm gonna say captain. Whenever I say captain, it's the captain of the organ distribution thing that they were doing on the game. But she's able to use him to get a boat so Young-soo can get out of the island, which he's able to escape. He did get shot at some point, but Jung-ho actually finds him, and he's able to point Jung-ho to the right direction of where the island is, so that's a good thing. Noel, I'm saying the name wrong, wants to delete the records. Now they were able to delete the records on the hard drive, but there is physical records, which we saw in season 2 if I remember. And the captain guy takes her to it. They have a conversation, they start fighting. She's able to kill him, and she's able to get to the room and burn essentially every record there. She was only going to delete his, and then she found hers, but she ended up just deleting every record that they have there. Back to the frontman and Gi-hoon. They do have a talk again, and the frontman just give him a knife, and he's like, hey, you need to know that everybody's going to go towards you and the baby because they want you dead. And the baby dead because I don't think it's fair. So I'm gonna give you the knife so you can kill everybody. And then we get a little bit of his past of how the frontman was given this option also by the frontman of the game that he was, which I'm pretty sure is the old man from season 1 because the mask looks like something else that we saw at some point. The frontman actually did it. I think he killed everybody, and that's why he won, I think. I'm pretty sure. If I better remember, but he's giving the same option to Gi-hoon, and Gi-hoon does try to do it, but he's not able to. I don't think he thinks it's fair or something. So they present the last game here, and it is called Sky Squid. It is very similar to the season 1 game. At the end there is 3 shapes: square, triangle, and circle, and the point is for them to eliminate somebody in each shape. 1 or more, but 1 is enough. They have to press this button at the floor, they kill the person, and then they just wait, and once the timer is off, a bridge appears and they can cross to the other shape. And that's basically what they need to do. The game is not really telling them who or to fight for it or anything. They just decide by themselves essentially, and they just keep moving, and then whoever is left at the end will get the money, or they will divide the money. So instead of 4, they will divide the money for all of them and all that. That's basically what it is. If they don't press the bottom thing, whoever dies, it doesn't count. So it's like somebody dies, but that wasn't pressed. There has to be another one. Let's go. That type. So they do start playing this game in episode 5. Now they start with the square shape, and that's where Min-soo dies. He is weird. We saw him a little bit with another guy that was with the character that Top played, which I don't remember the name. The other guy was the one that got the drugs. Min-soo, I think he had drugs at some point, but he was already hallucinating with everything, and they're like, no. They wanted to separate Gi-hoon and the baby, but Myung-gi, he was able to convince the guys, like, hey, we can think of that later, but we have this one that is way easier to kill. They just go with that one, and they use that. Go to the triangle. And when they get to the triangle was that the game went, not the game, but like the plan that they had essentially went to shit, because they couldn't separate Gi-hoon from the baby, and then Myung-gi decided to reveal himself that he's the father. Bad timing, but he did it. So everybody's like, what the hell? They start fighting everybody. So many of them die, and then by the time they press the bottom to see what they were going to do, oh no, actually they pressed it already, and then they started dying. Like 4 of them died, and then the timer goes off, and then it's only Myung-gi, Gi-hoon, and the baby, and it's like, oh well, one of you have to die, otherwise you're all going to die, and I don't think you want that. Either way, we need to wrap this up. We're in the last episode, things need to connect even more. So to put the end of the game in the circle. Myung-gi wants the baby, but of course Gi-hun doesn't want to give it to him. He does give it to him, but he's able to jump to the other shape, and they start fighting. Again, Myung-gi is like, hey, he has the baby, and he has the baby like outside, and he's like, Gi-hun, you need to get the fuck away from me. I hate this guy. he was ready to kill his own baby just for money. What is the point? Clear your debts? Either way, I hate this guy. Either way, Myung-gi dies. By the way, he just does. But that was before the bottom thing was pressed. So now it's only Gi-hun and the baby. And one of them has to die because otherwise both of them dies. And this is where the whole thing of Gi-hun pressing it and killing himself is before. And he says his own monologue of like, we're not animals, we're humans, we're blah blah blah, and then he kills himself, and the baby's the one that wins this game, essentially. Jung-ho finds the island, by the way, there you go, after 3 seasons of looking for it. But he finds it. He does see his brother again. The frontman is his brother, In-ho, that's his name. He's so far that they're not able to talk, and by this time the island is going to explode. So the frontman just takes the baby and goes down, and In-ho, oh my god, Jung-ho is just screaming at him. 6 months later, because again we need to have some kind of time going out, Gyeon-suk and Noel are alive. She's able to get out. I don't fully remember how. Did they ever explain how she got out? Was it by a boat? The last thing that I remember was she seeing the last game on the TV while everything was burning down. I don't know how she got out. I don't remember. I think it was by a boat or something. Either way, she's out. The baby, the baby's given to Jung-ho. Okay, he gets the baby with the money and everything. And then somebody took Gi-hun's money, which I'm guessing was the frontman, because we see later on the frontman giving a card to Gi-hun's daughter in the USA, essentially, and being like, hey, this is from your father, just take it. She was like, I don't want anything with my father, he never visited me and everything, but she still takes it. And then before everything ends, which I was about to flip my phone here, and I do have something to talk about it, we see a recruiter from the USA playing the same game where you hit and it has to flip. I don't remember the name. And this woman is Kate Blanchett. And the frontman is just looking at her, and that's essentially how it ends. So in a way they're saying like the games continue in any country, and it's going to continue even if one is done. Kate Blanchett. Now I was very confused. I found an article because I was like, how did Kate Blanchett got involved in this? I'll link this below just in case you want to see the whole thing, but it basically says Squid Game season 3 final scene reveals as the American recruiter, essentially. And this was on June 30 of this year, so it's not too far, but I don't want to read everything. The director of Squid Game said, we thought having a woman as a recruiter will be more dramatic and intriguing, said Squid Game's director Hwang Dong-hyuk. As for why Kate Blanchett, she's just the best with unmatched charisma. Who doesn't love her? So we were very happy to have her appear. We needed someone who could dominate the screen with just 1 or 2 words, which is exactly what she did. If Gujun Gonju, oh my god, is the Korean recruiter, I thought she would be the perfect fit as the American recruiter, bringing a short but gripping and impactful ending to the story. Director Hwang was impressed with what Blanchett did in such a limited screen time during the shoot. She reminded me of what true talent looks like. Even with just a few looks and lines, her performance was mesmerizing. She was amazing at playing Dakji. I believe she successfully flipped the Dakji with her first try, and were able to get that one long take right away. For his part, Lee Byung-hun, which is the one that plays the frontman, thinks the final scene is truly an ending that fits the show's name. Personally, I interpret it as despite all the noble efforts of so many people, the worst thing continue as it was before. She does things so well, and it's definitely true what they say that it just that short scene, it was like a minute or 2, literally the end, it was enough for you to be like scared of her. You know what I mean? Like, oh shit. And it does make sense because again, the games continue, so even if the island is burned down, the records are burned down, It just means the game is going to keep continuing even if it is in other places. That is essentially everything. So I have a couple of things. I have them numbered and I will try to go as quickly as I can through it because, you know, I don't want to be talking for too long here. But first off, and this has to be the first thing because I have to get this out of my chest, I don't understand the point of Junho in this whole series. I don't understand. I know he has the brother, I know he's trying to find it and all of that, understandable. He got shot in season 1. Season 2, he barely has a story other than finding a stupid island. And then in season 3, he was able to see the brother, but the island cup blew up before they were able to speak. At least let them speak. What was the point of it if they never had a chance to speak in a way? Even if it was something small, even if it was a small chat, even if they were screaming from how far away they were, that would be totally fine. And then he ended with the baby. Now I see it more as him being kind of the better one to stay with the baby in Inho's eyes of the frontman, and that's why he gave it to him. But either way, my guy went through a lot for it just end up with a baby. You know what I mean? I would have liked if they have at least have some kind of conversation, even if they were screaming from far away, but at least that was something, some kind of closure for the poor guy that spent 3 seasons trying to find an island. But still, I didn't understand the point. I think it was just a side story that I never understood. The same way with the organization thingy, organ thingy. I understand the whole thing that they were going for. I don't think they explain it enough for people to fully understand the whole point of them. The whole point of the captain and everything. But it got ended on the first episode. I think they didn't know what to do with it. I think the whole point of this was for them to have a way to use it so the player could get out, like Noel and Hyunsuk and all that. I don't understand it. I think they just ended, again, they ended on the first episode completely. So it was like, we don't need this anymore, we don't know how to finish it, so everybody's just gonna get killed and done. You know what I mean? If they wanted to add that, they needed to do more with it, and I don't think they did. A thing that I didn't mention at all, if you didn't notice, the VIPs. The VIPs are back in season 3. We didn't see anything from them in season 2. They're back on this. They're just as annoying and not necessarily as in season 1. The whole season they're just like, hey, he dies, yay, who did you bet on? They're just annoying, and also the masks look very cheap compared to the first season. Those things looks luxury. Here they're just nothing compared to season 1, so they were just annoying. That's why I never mentioned it, but they were part of season 3. You can see them in pretty much all the episodes. I understand it was necessary to connect everything in 6 episodes. This is like 2 episodes less. I think season 1 and season 2 were 8. This one is 6. I understand that they try their best to explain everything, but also they didn't tell you the full story. I had questions. Why is it always 456? I'm guessing that number probably has a meaning, but why is it that amount of players? Where is this money coming from? Why these games? Why do these people get know each other already? You know what I mean? Because when the guy figured out that Young-il and the recruiter already know each other, why? How did that? I think Young-il was a player and probably didn't know each other because he was the one that recruited him. That's my guessing. I don't know if that's the way. So they were just throw you there you go, but they never explain it properly, so you will be like, oh, that's why. You know what I mean? It's just and again, the frontman story was through there. They gave that flashback, but what is the point? Again, to make it look like he felt bad for Gi-hun is the only thing that I can think of, but still doesn't make any sense. Again, it's very quick pace and they were trying to connect everything, so some things were loose, and now I'm like, I have more questions than what I already had. The ending was okay. I understand why Gi-hun had to die. He was tainted. He was not as pure as in season 1 in the sense of his hands are already dirty, and I don't think that he was going to be able to have a normal life in a way after everything. So I understand why he had to die. The baby surviving again is the whole only pure soul out of everything, the new beginning for humanity, and maybe a change there, so that makes sounds totally fine. I wanted more from Gi-hoon and the frontman conversation. I mentioned it already, but I wanted more. Like, he was acting, like frontman was acting so obsessed with Gi-hoon. I'm guessing it's because he sees himself in Gi-hoon. That is what I'm guessing. But I don't know. I kind of prefer Gi-hoon would have ended the new frontman or something like that. That would have been cool, but that didn't happen. I don't know, the conversation for Rush, again, everything for Rush, but this conversation, nothing happened. Like, I wanted more, and Gi-hoon didn't have enough of a reaction for me after noticing that the person that he played all the games in season 2 and Sheer, when they were playing the whole ruler game thing, is the frontman. You know what I mean? Overall, season 1 was very strong, but then they tried to connect things for season 2 and season 3, and everything went downhill. I don't like it. I mean, the first season won Emmys, I think, and the actors. Season 2 hasn't been nominated for anything. Again, season 2 and season 3 are kind of the same game, so I understand why season 1 feels more like a complete story. These two, you need to see them together to kind of make it make sense. So I understand why not being nominated, but that also tells you a little bit, like, maybe doing season 2 season 3 wasn't really a necessity. I don't know. I liked season 1. I understand the ending is like open because of the way that it ends, with him being like, I'm gonna get revenge and I'm gonna go back in the games. I understand that. I like that. I kind of like open-ended things as long as it's done well. A random thought though that I had while I was writing this, that I wrote at the end, is that I do feel each dead or each person that died do have a meaning to it. Like, for example, Eugene is representing like the strategy of heroes because she was always trying to help everybody. You had Deho, which is more of how, you know, one mistake you make can haunt you forever or something like that. You have Young Chick, which is like value lives. That's why he couldn't kill anybody. You have Gumja also killing herself because of guilt. You got Greed with Myungi, is the other one that I wrote down, because he's willing to kill his own child for money. And then you have Gi-hoon, which in a way you can still see it as humanity. I just prefer season 1, honestly. If you are going to watch this, I think seeing season 1 is enough. If you want to continue, you can watch season 2 season 3 if you want. I don't think it's necessary. Again, season 1 can stand alone, and that is fine. If any of you have seen this, let me know what you guys think. Do you prefer season 1, or do you like that they extended it to season 2 and season 3? Let me know your thoughts. And yeah, I'm gonna leave this here because this is gonna be a very long one, I can tell. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. I hope you're doing great, and I'm gonna see you all on the next one. Bye.